Good evening. Welcome to the December 5th, 2022 meeting of the Marshfield Planning Board. The time is now 7:03 p.m. Tonight's meeting is being recorded by MCTV, and we are holding a live remote meeting via Zoom. Tonight's members here tonight are Katie O'Donnell, Nick Papastratis, Fred Monaco. Currently absent is Kevin Cantwell. I'm Mike Viviano, the chair, and Scott DeCastro will not be here tonight. Also with us tonight is Greg Guimont, our town planner, and Karen Horn, our assistant town planner. At this time, I'll make a motion to open tonight's public meeting and waive the reading of the notice. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Still no Kevin, and Mike Viviano, aye. So tonight's meeting is open. Maybe we'll just jump to number 2 on the agenda. Since Kevin's not here, we probably need him for the other public hearing. As Greg just mentioned, the public meeting for Juniper Road is going to be continued to 1/9/23 with no discussion tonight. So with that, I'll make a motion. We continue Juniper Road to 1/9/23 at 7:05. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. Greg, do we definitely need Kevin for that first one?
We don't need him. You do have 4 board members. So if you'd like to go to that, we could go to that. Or if you want, we could do the A&R and get that out of the way pretty quickly.
Yeah, let's go to the A&R first, just to see if we can get Kevin on. Are you presenting the A&R? Greg?
I don't know if Merrill has somebody online. If not, I can explain it.
Anyone here for this plan? Okay, seeing none, I'll let Greg explain it.
So this is a pretty simple swap of land between 2 property owners with 2 existing houses. Nathaniel Way is to the left here where my little hand is going up and down. The area that's being swapped is right in between the 2 houses. The other house's frontage is on Bartlett's Island Way, which is down in here. And on your right up here on the top right, you can see the swap land area between the 2 properties, and that's to get the proper setback for the house here on lot 8B.
Greg, is this its own public hearing?
No, this does not require a public hearing.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thanks.
So the board can vote approval of the A&R. It meets all the standards.
Any questions from any board members? No, anyone from the public here for this?
Sorry, my dog had opened the door. So I just ran to close it really quick. Why are they doing the swap again?
So one of the houses, you can see where the little hand function is. The lot here, to get the setback for the garage.
Okay. All right.
So
All right,
a little
thank you.
close. So they're swapping the same amount of land between the 2 of them. So the house meets the side setback requirement.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? All right, seeing none, is there anyone here from the public again? See everybody, so just say it if you're there. All right, I didn't hear anyone, so I'll make a motion that we approve the A&R plan as presented for number 22 Nathaniel Way. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Still no Kevin. Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, we're going to move on to we're going to make a motion. We open the public hearing for 965, 975, and 985 Plain Street and waive the reading of the notice. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Thanks, Katie. Nick?
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. All right, who's presenting this one?
Steve Guard.
Okay, hi, Steve, go ahead.
Hi, Mike. Good evening, everyone. Attorney Steve Guard for the applicants, and with me is Ben Verga and Deb Keller from Merrill Engineering. So I have the distinct pleasure of finally presenting to you folks the definitive subdivision plan that will allow us to install the School Street signalized intersection at School Street and Plain Street. So that having been said, I have a little narrative that I would like to give you as an overview. The plan is rather complicated in the sense that it has 4 property owners, and there's some pieces to the puzzle that we're shuffling around to make this all work. So BMLC LLC, Plain Street subdivision plan for the Mass Dot signalized intersection, Plain Street and School Street, which we have provided to you as well, the Mass Dot plans, just as background. So you can see how the subdivision road intersects and joins up with the signalized intersection. The MassDOT application process is in stage 75%, the last stage before MassDOT issues a permit. Primarily left on our deliverable list is the local permitting. The land is located in the I-1 district in the WRPD overlay district. The subdivision is made up of 4 parcels of land owned by BMLC LLC, which is basically what we know as South Shore Buds and Frozen 4. DMC Plain Street LLC, which is Don Martin's company, and the Martin Realty Trust, which is the Martin family, and of course the town of Marshfield, where the DPW barn is currently located. The Marshfield Select Board voted unanimously to authorize me to file on its behalf the written plans before you this evening. All other 3 landowners have also executed authorizations for the filing of these plans as the same affect their land. The general concept of the plan presented to you this evening is the vision of your town planner. While we were vetting the possible connections to the signalized intersection, Greg came up with the idea of the Lone Street connector, shown on the plan as Road A. At the time, I didn't think that was remotely possible. I'm glad that I was wrong. As we all know, entering and exiting Lone Street is very hazardous in either direction. The same could be said for the Martin Family Trust driveway and, of course, the town's DPW driveway onto Plain Street, all of which carry generally a heavy volume of large semi-trailer trucks, utility trucks, and dump trucks from primarily commercial use properties. It doesn't need mentioning, but of course, for completeness, the School Street intersection is also very dangerous, hence the School Street signalized intersection that was proposed by the town years ago and approved by the state. In fact, much of the subsurface infrastructure has already been installed in the ground around the signalized intersection area when Route 139 was widened and redone. The main purpose of the subdivision was to gain a consensus to manage the access points to Plain Street in the vicinity of the proposed signal, including how to manage the Lone Street connection. In the first phase, the Lone Street reconfiguration, BMLC Frozen 4 proposed and did straighten the end of Lone Street somewhat, where it intersects with Plain Street. This was an improvement for sure, but it failed to fully correct the safety issues at that particular intersection on that dangerous curve. Enter Greg Guimon's plan to connect Lone Street to the new signal. Enter Merrill Engineering to design a plan that maximizes the desired safety results by cutting through the BMLC land with the road that meets the town specs, consolidating the Martin's driveway with the town's driveway, connecting the South Shore Buds parking lot at two points, and providing a driveway from the Portia dealership to the Signal Road, shown on the plan as Road B, all to allow safe movement of large commercial vehicles. Not that that intersection is much easier for passenger vehicles. Now, to achieve this vision and this plan, the parties have worked tirelessly for months together, as they all know it is in what their best interest and in the best interest of the town. As a result, before you is a 6-lot subdivision. There are currently 3 lots existing: the South Shore Buds lot, the Martin lot, and of course the town's lot with the DPW currently. This subdivision plan creates 3 additional lots. The lot is created by the Road A intersecting the BMLC lot for the Lone Street connector, and then in the back by the cul-de-sac 2 other lots are created on the Martin land, DMC's land and the family trust land, giving them an additional 2 lots in the back. For that, the majority of the subdivision road land is on town land, as you can see by the plan. Parcels C and D are owned by the Martin Family Trust. Those are the 2 pieces that are on the west side of the subdivision road as it goes from down from south to north. So they're on the land between South Shore Buds and the new subdivision road. They are divided into 2 parcels identified as C and D. The Martin family, those parcels are contemplated to be deeded to the town through BMLC from the Martin family for nominal consideration so that BMLC can retain the nitrogen loading credits for the open space or the grass area of those 2 lots to maintain its conformity on the lot that South Shore Buds is currently on. The town contributes the land to the Signal Road. The Martin family contributes the land along the west side of the Signal Road. BMLC contributes the land for Road A, the Lone Street connector, and Frozen 4 pays for just about all. The town pays for basically nothing. Everyone gets new safe roads to and from a signalized intersection on a dangerous curve in Plain Street. So with that, I have one housekeeping thing, Greg. I forgot to bring the green cards. I thought I was coming to town hall, but they're at the office. I do have them, and I'll get them over to you tomorrow or the next day so that you have them in your file. With that, I would turn the presentation over to Deb, who can walk you through the plans for the specific elements of each plan. I just wanted to provide the board with a kind of an overview of the puzzle pieces and how they are moving around to make this work and satisfying, hopefully, all parties' interest in getting everyone what they really want, which is this signal and a safe road to and from Plain Street from July.
So thank you, Steve. Good evening. My name is Deb Keller with Merrill Engineers and Land Surveyors. And Greg, if it's okay, I'll share my screen.
Yes.
So hopefully everybody can see the screen here. Let's see if I can get this out of the way. Again, I'll start from the beginning. This is just a overview of the cover sheet, but it's kind of a nice locus that shows where all the parcels that Steve kindly described. Again, this is the DPW site. This is 985. I do it correct? Yes, Plain Street here. And then this is the Martin's property in the back. So as I move forward, this was our key plan. This one might be helpful just to give bearing again to the description of our connector road from Lone Street here on the left-hand side of the plan. So this ties Lone Street to the road, what we call Road B, where we'd have the signalized intersection with Plain Street, and identifying the newly defined lots as Steve mentioned, 6 lots. So we have lot 1 here being the DPW lot. We have lots 2, 3, and 4, which would be the Martin's property lots in the rear. And then 5 and 6 are the division of the 985 Plain Street property through the creation of Road A. I'm going to zip through. This is just existing conditions, shows you the development of 985, the development in the rear on the Martin's property.
Deb, if I could hold you up there and go back to the existing.
Sure.
I think it would be helpful for the board if you could just point out the proximity of the driveways to the signalized intersection and why it was imperative for us to all work together to consolidate those driveways so that they didn't offensively interfere with the signal.
Sure. So the goal is to have the intersection aligned with School Street, which you can see here up at the top of the page. So to the right is the DPW driveway. So it's not quite aligned with School Street. You have the Martin's property, and I apologize, my little thing keeps flagging there, but this is the Martin's driveway coming out to the rear. Again, still not quite aligned up with School Street. And then you have Lone Street over here with the geometry that we'd like to help eliminate from a safety perspective, having that tie in. So being able to pull all three of those driveways together and align them with the signal with School Street would be a much safer situation between, eliminating 3 down to 1. This shows you the road layout again, with the design of the signal going through Mass DOT's review. We do have a wider right-of-way for the beginning portion of Road B to allow for a right turn and a left turn out, as well as one lane coming in, narrowing that down to the traditional 2-lane roadways when you get to the remainder of Road B down to the cul-de-sac, as well as Road A here. So those would be the 2 right-of-ways that are being created here. And this shows the end of the cul-de-sac. Gonna hop to basically, so this you can see a little bit of we brought in some of the striping for the intersection just to get a general perspective of how the signal would be aligned. So you can see here, this is the 2 lanes coming into the intersection. So you have a right lane and a through lane, and then a dedicated left lane, and then the one-way coming in. So that all lines up with School Street. We do, as mentioned, have an entrance driveway coming into 985 Plain Street up front here. And there would be an additional exit here so that 985 customers and employees could come onto Road A and loop back to the intersection to leave the property. Again, you'd have the remaining of the subdivision up to the Martin's property coming a traditional roadway, 26 feet wide here. And then we have the DPW driveway coming in, creating a 4-way stop condition here internally of this development. The idea here was to try to keep this intersection not too close to the main signal and give adequate queuing for the actual signal on 139. This is an additional driveway connection from Cork. I understand that might be something that needs to be discussed further, but we do show it on the plan as an option by others. So let's see. So here's a more detailed grading. So again, as Steve mentioned, we were trying to meet the definitive subdivision standards for the roadways. We are asking for a few waivers. In particular, one is that the roadway center line would not be in the center of the way, and that would be for this particular portion of Road B, because we have that third lane and we have a sort of a wider entrance here. It shifts our center line just slightly. But as for the remainder of Road B and Road A, center line is the center of the way. We are asking for a reduction in the roadway right-of-way width for Road B. For commercial or an industrial subdivisions, it's standard for a minimum of 50-foot right-of-way. To get this to work, we needed a 40-foot right-of-way for the connector road for Road B. And we do have some topography challenges here. You can see the hill along here. So we are looking for a slight relief in the grades at the entrance here at both ends of the intersection, but max grade on the roadway does meet standards. We do have one sidewalk coming in from Plain Street running along Road B with a crosswalk and continuing all the way through and up and around the cul-de-sac. So we are asking again for a reduced no sidewalk for the connector. We have vertical granite curb on all the radiuses at the intersections and curb inlets at the catch basins, but otherwise we're looking for 1 foot wide Cape Cod berm for the majority of the roadway. Where we do have sidewalk up against the roadway, we do have vertical granite curb down for the main section here of Road B. After the intersection here, inward of the site, we do have a grass strip. So we are proposing a Cape Cod berm with a grass strip, then the sidewalk. Some additional notes, I think we were asking also for relief along here. We have an existing retaining wall that was constructed with 985 Plain Street approximately a year and a half ago. With that, there is a tighter shoulder here. And one of the questions during our review process was whether or not street trees in this section would be successful being so close to retaining walls. So what we'd like to propose is some street shrubs. Currently, I'm proposing inkberry shrubs, something evergreen at instead of a 40-foot on center, 25-foot on center, so that they're a little closer, but they'll break up the visual of the retaining wall. And act basically as street trees along the way in that portion where we do have the existing retaining wall. We do have stormwater facilities. We're capturing closed drainage through stormwater through a closed drainage system. Treatment through pre-treatment structures into 2 infiltration basins, one in this location here along Road B, and the second one along Road B in this location where my mouse is now. It is adjacent to an existing stormwater basin already on the site, which captures drainage from the DPW property. And so this is the road profile. So, oops, let me go back to that one. This is Road A again. So you can see these are the existing topography that we're working with, that we were trying to, and it does drop off at the intersection here, and it's quite high up in this portion of the road here. So we're trying to work with that. So that's where, if I zoom in, we have, I think this flattens out a little bit. Where is it? So we're going from a almost 2.7% grade at the intersection to a 5% grade, and then a 3.2% grade as we come into the internal intersection here. Let's see if I zoom out again. And this would be showing you the profile for Road B. Fortunate enough, here we're at a high point, so we don't have to worry about Mass DOT and any drainage going into Plain Street. We will capture it all on site, collect it into the 2 infiltration basins that we have on property to a low point approximately in this location here, and pitching back up as we go towards the cul-de-sac. And on average, I believe this profile is 1.8 to 2%. So it is a softer grade on this profile. And then we're into details again. So that's a quick summary of the plans we did do. And I see Mr. Brennan is on the call with us. We did respond to some comments. I believe we've addressed all of the comments. And as Steve mentioned, I think our understanding was parcels C and D, which I can highlight for you here. So this would be parcel C in this portion, and parcel D is here on this side of.
Yeah, but I think you're on the wrong page. I think you need to, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, was I on the wrong one?
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry, here, I'll get you to the lotting. I think that'll be easier to see. So,
yeah, there you go. Yep.
yep. Okay, so here's parcel C and parcel D. And I think originally we had spoke about, conveying those to the town, and I think those details might need to be hammered out a little bit more, but that was the intent. Therefore, it's noted on the plan. I think we had a few cleanup details addressed, and we added the additional waivers that I just spoke about to the plan set for the record, and the street trees along the retaining wall. And I think that covers most of everything. And I'm happy to.
Can you show the page that has all the plantings on it? I know it's not a landscape plan, but it shows the plantings. I think that is indicative. It shows the street trees that you did propose. Yeah.
Sure. Yep. So you can see I've sort of highlighted all the street trees are compliant, except for in this one section where we do have a retaining wall close to the right of way. So we wanted to make sure that those plantings would be successful, and felt the shrubs would be more successful than street trees in that location.
And if the board may recall, when we came back in for a site plan reconfiguration with South Shore Buds, we anticipated, this coming forward with this plan. So the site work and the approvals for South Shore Buds are already done. Like, that's all set. So when they did the site work on the parking lot, McDougal, he planned around this plan. So we've already dug away at that big hill back there and made it so that it's getting ready for this road A, so to speak.
Okay, thank you. Maybe Greg, you want us to move on to Pat now?
Yes.
Okay. Pat, are you on?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Pat Brennan with Amory Engineers. I did review the project, as Deb mentioned. They have pretty much addressed the majority of my comments. A couple of quick things with this plan that's up right now. You can see on parcel D, the street trees are actually on the parcel along that stretch. And, in my letter, I just said that if that is going to be conveyed to the town, then that would not be an issue. However, if it's maintained as a private ownership, then the board may want an easement for those trees along that stretch there. One of the other changes that Deb made at my request was the center island in the cul-de-sac. She had a conforming center island. However, they had 26 foot width of pavement coming down, and then they narrowed it down going around the circle to, I believe, 22, I believe is what it was previously. So she did reduce the radius of the center island so that you have a constant 26 foot width of pavement all the way around that turnaround. They're going to need some test holes in the drainage basins, the proposed drainage basins. But I note that, you have the existing basin there on the DPW property that's actually at the bottom elevation of that is at a lower elevation. So I think that they're probably okay, but I just wanted, if this were to be approved, I would just recommend a condition requiring those test pits at the start of construction. And then as I think both Attorney Guard and Deb alluded to, that I believe there's a meeting with DPW this week to kind of discuss some of these issues, because there's some issues related to maintenance and so forth in the documentation that I questioned, and DPW just needs to kind of chime in on those things. So that's still stuff that's in the works right now. And then, like Deb said, those street shrubs that they're showing, I had questioned whether trees would grow there, and I'm glad to see that they changed those out with some shrubs at a more denser spacing. So I think it's still it gives you the greenery that you're looking for, and with something that should survive in that area. And I think that other than the 7 waivers, I think those are the comments that I just wanted to make. Like I said, the meeting with DPW is just going to kind of hammer out a lot of these outstanding issues. That's about it.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Greg, do you have any other comments?
Yes, Michael, a few.
Okay.
On sheet C41, the lotting plan,
See, okay,
Um,
4141, yes.
so parcels C and D, the plan has that being conveyed to the town. The northern part of parcel C, I understand why, because you see parcel B, you got that curve coming down from the 500-foot line from the daycare. So if that was carried over, the top or northern part of parcel C would go to the town and be joined with parcel B. However, the lower part of parcel C and parcel D, I feel it would be better if it went to merged into lots 6 and 5. Because we're going to have all these scattered little sites of town land, which is going to be hard for the DPW to maintain, et cetera. So my recommendation is the lower part of parcel C and the lower part of parcel, or all of parcel D, be merged into those other 2 lots. Sheet 651 layout plan. And this will also, you won't have to go to these, Deb, but 6C1 grading and drainage and 683 construction details. What I'm talking about mainly is your street trees and your sidewalks. Pat had kind of brought it up. There are a number of locations where the street trees are not in the street layout. So we would either need easements, as Pat said, or we need to look at the design. So the first part of roadway B as you come in has the sidewalk along the street. And then as we get past the intersection of Road A and the DPW drive, it becomes a different road layout. And then we have a 4-foot grass strip between the sidewalk and the roadway or the Cape Cod berm. And one way we could deal with this is if we put the sidewalk right up against the street, shift it over, we add the 2 feet from the outside of the sidewalk and the 4 feet to the area, and then plant the trees right on the property line. That gives us a better buffer between the street trees. I brought this up because Beaver Crossing, which is a recent subdivision, it was a very tight area between the street and the sidewalk. And as the street trees were being installed, I had several DPW people mention to me, you know, the street trees are only going to crack the sidewalk, et cetera, as they grow up. You need a wider strip. So that was something that I wanted to mention. Also, there is no sidewalk along Road A, which they did mention. And one of the questions for you guys to think about, what is the truck traffic do we expect off of Lone Street, the size of trucks, et cetera? Could we change Road A from a 26-foot wide paved road to a 24-foot wide road? And then maybe shift the road off center and put the street trees only on one side. As you mentioned, you already have the retaining wall on one side. So just something to think about also for Pat, you know, to take a look at. Then under Road B, station 0 to 100 up at the top by the intersection with Plain Street. The entrance lane is 18 feet wide until we get to the entrance driveway for Buds. Then you see the road bumps out a little and it goes down to a 14-foot wide entrance lane. So you have one lane coming in and 2 lanes going out. My question for everybody is, should we just make Road B from 139 to the Road A DPW driveway 1 width wide? We're going to have a lot of dump trucks and a lot of other trucks going into DPW, et cetera. Does that wide width make sense at that intersection to ease turning? If the Kia/Quirk connection is continued or left, we could potentially have car carrier trucks going through that intersection as well. So standardizing that roadway width may make sense in that section. And then that's actually it for my comments for now. We know that DPW would like to hammer out a few things. So we will, my recommendation to the board is that we will probably continue the public hearing either to January 23rd or the first date in February, if we hear any comments from DPW on that tonight. With that, Mike, I'm all set. Shauna has had her hand up for quite a while.
Okay, I'm gonna go to I'll go to the board first to see if they have any questions. Any of the board members have any questions at this time before we go to the public?
Yeah, Mike, I have a few things I just want to confirm. One is there are no proposed changes to Lone Street in this, correct?
That is correct.
Right, Nick. We played with a whole bunch of ideas of what would happen to Lone Street, and I think that's still in progress. Whether we end up closing, propose to close it off and put like a turnaround down there for the motorcycle place and for the other South Shore Buds entrance. You're probably going to ask, what are we going to do with that entrance? I think ideally we'd want it to, if Lone Street's probably going to temporarily be a right turn in only, hopefully, and then everybody will go to the light. But ideally, it's kind of up to the town what they want to do there. I think there's a lot of options and none short of eliminating it altogether. As long as we can get fire trucks in and out and down around there, as opposed to making it a, do not enter or whatever, something like that.
Okay, thank you. The next is, I guess this plan shows it better. It looks like there's two proposed crosswalks over Plain Street. Is that correct?
Yes, here, there's actually 4 going all the way around the entire signal intersection.
Okay, great. Next question, the cul-de-sac, that inner circle, what's proposed? Is it a Cape Cod berm? I didn't see a note on that.
So we have, I believe I have Cape Cod berm right currently, and then the interior of the island would be landscaped.
Okay. Oh, is that what the CCB?
CCB,
okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
Cape Cod berm, yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then I don't recall discussion on this. Has there been a traffic study related to this intersection?
Yeah. Yeah, Ian. Yeah, we have the team that we have on the Mass Dot application is the traffic company.
Okay.
So
I'm
sorry.
I was going to say, Nick, we have under the 75% design to the state, there is an attached study.
Okay, great. All right. I think that was everything I had.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Anyone else from the board right now?
I'm all set.
Okay, great. I can't see everybody, so if you're on the board.
Kevin is with us now.
Yeah, Kevin's with us. He joined a while back. Okay, seeing no one from the board, I'm going to go to the public. If you could just say your name and address, and Shauna, I'll go to you first. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, Shauna Manning, unit owner on Parish Path. And my concern with the new traffic signal at School Street, Parish Path is separated from School Street with the Sowing Seeds Church. And I do not see how I will ever make a left-hand turn out of Parish Path with the lights there and the amount of traffic.
How you make a left-hand turn, so coming out, cutting across.
Coming out of Parish Path,
Yeah.
I don't see how I'm going to make a left turn to go to downtown Marshfield.
Is that a double yellow anyway, going down there now? Is that a legal left turn right now?
Yes. Parish Path at the end of the street has no stop sign, and you can turn right or left to get out of Parish Path onto Plain Street. With this traffic light, I don't see how I can leave Parish Path and take a left turn.
I'm not the traffic expert here, but it seems like the traffic light would help you because it'll be stopping the traffic and it'll give you that opportunity to to get out without having to look both ways almost.
Not with the way the traffic backs up. There's been times turning right, leaving Parish Path, the traffic is backed up beyond Parish Path and the School Street intersection, and I have to wait for someone to let me in. You know, it's always difficult to take a left turn out of Parish Path, but with the traffic light and people, you know, all the cars stopped and backed up, I don't see how I can safely get out and do a left hand turn out of Parish Path.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
So I have the air photo up. Shauna, it looks like Parish Path driveway comes out in between 988 and the sewing circle, or the sewing seeds, which is
Yes.
974.
Yep.
It also looks like there's a connection over the sewing seeds land out onto School Street.
There is, and it also says no trespassing and no through traffic.
Okay.
Which I think will be a problem. Parish Path gets a lot of FedEx and UPS truck deliveries. In fact, UPS will have 3 to 5 trucks a day. I don't know why they don't combine them to all the people receiving UPS on Parish Path, but there are multiple large trucks that go down Parish Path. You know, and I just think it's going to be a problem with sowing seeds if everybody and their brother is now cutting through their little lot in one lane to get onto School Street.
So does Parish Path residents have access through there?
Well, some people do go through there. The ones that are afraid to try to turn left.
I agree with that. That's a good
And
idea.
they go the back way to Route 3A. However, there are signs posted saying no trespassing, no through traffic. They don't want people cutting through there. Although there are many days no one is at sowing seeds, I think it's going to be a problem because there are 60 units and over 60 cars of people that live at Parish Path. And I think it will be an issue for sowing seeds if all of these cars are going through trying to get to School Street to use a light.
Is that a road or
Michael?
is it their private property?
It's
Michael,
private
it's a
property.
driveway. Yeah, it's a driveway on their private property. However, the driveway curves up around the building, but the driveway gets within a couple of feet of the right-of-way line for School Street. So something for the state and the applicants to look at is if they cut directly across instead, you know, for the people trying to make that like a way out to the signalized intersection of School Street for that development, and they leave the northern part of the sowing seeds driveway and parking area alone, which then keeps the traffic from going up around the building. You'd have to see the air photo in order to see it. Let's see if I hold on one second. I'll share this.
Yep.
So Greg, you're thinking it needs a new connector behind sowing seeds?
So see where the arrow is?
Yep.
And here's the driveway. But see the yellow line?
Yes.
If we went straight across here, that's the least impact on the sowing seeds, and it provides all those residents a way out through the intersection at the signal.
I think that's a pretty big hill right there.
It is rather steep when you go when you go where they are now and you go to the very back where it's wider. There's a little way onto School Street, and it is steep.
Yeah, and the way Greg proposed it is steep as well, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, it's taking a second.
Sure. So Greg, are we trying to roll this all into one plan to try to help Parish Path here?
I'm just saying there's something that can be looked at. I mean, this is already at 75% design with the state. And
Well,
the
I
state
think-
already had the design for the School Street intersection, so.
Excuse me, but it seems that people overlooked that there are about 100 cars on a small path or lane right next to this intersection. And not only are there about 100 cars of people that live there, but there's also deliveries and other traffic.
Which is
And-
why I'm making the
Yeah.
suggestion for the applicant to work with the state to see if we can alleviate that. So Mike, there's a couple of contour lines close together down here, see the 94?
Yep.
Mhm. Yes,
But that's not a major grading job. So, I mean, it's a discussion that needs to happen with the sowing seeds people to see if we could make that connection through to alleviate left-hand turns out of Parish Path.
there
Okay.
already have been accidents since the time I've owned a unit coming out of Parish Path. And the accidents I know of were people making left turns, so
No
it's
doubt.
an issue.
Okay, so Greg has asked the applicant if they can look into this issue as well, Steve?
I mean, I'm not familiar with this. This is all new to me. The state application process has been on the state road layout focused. I have seen nothing that has indicated a problem with the Parish Path, but I'm certainly happy to go back to the traffic company and the engineers that have filed that application and ask them what the story is with that.
Okay, that would be great if we get some information on that.
And on our side, I'll bring it up to the DPW tomorrow in the meeting.
Okay,
Oh,
That
just
sounds
so if I could interject a little bit, Greg, so that you know what, I'll talk to you, Greg, later about the ownership of the different pieces that you were pointing to, and then it'll give me some heads up for the traffic engineer.
Okay.
okay, thank you for your comment, Shauna. We'll look into that as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
How will I hear back?
Well, we're gonna have another public hearing on this.
Okay,
That's how we're gonna get the information back at that point as well. Yep, so we'll give you that date when we end up continuing this.
okay.
Is there anyone else from the public here tonight that wants to speak on this?
Hi, I'm Erin Skeffington. I actually also live at Parish Path, and I had the same concerns that Shauna had. That's why I'm here tonight.
Okay, yep, thank you for joining us. Anything else to add, or she cover everything?
Nope, she covered it all.
Okay. All right, thank you. So, anyone from the board, anything else they want to talk about at all before we go to continuance here? Okay, so it looks like we had one unforeseen issue come up that we'll hopefully have some more info on at the next meeting. Steve, we can either go to 123 or we can go to the February meeting. What do you want to go for?
I think we go to 123. Well, Deb, I should defer to Deb. She's pretty busy these days. Well, in all fairness, everybody's pretty swamped, Deb, especially
Yeah.
over the holidays. You want to shoot for the 23rd?
I think we can shoot for the 23rd. I'll touch base with Greg. I think some of the suggestions that he made seem doable, and we could work through those. Other than that, it would be just coordinating, I think, with the traffic engineer to see if we can get some answers back for Parish Path.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Greg.
So with that, I'll make a motion. We continue this public hearing till 123:23 at 7:05 PM. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick,
Nick Papastratus, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
For the record, Kevin was here for the meeting. Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, we'll see everyone back on the 23rd of January.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Okay, good night.
Thank you.
All right, next we're going to move on to discussion of possible zoning articles. Greg?
Actually, we have the lot release for Proprietors Drive, lot 19.
All right, I didn't write that one down. So is that a public hearing or just a,
Oh, sorry, that was under the revised agenda.
okay,
Um,
so,
So it's for the Star Board Academy daycare facility. They have asked for the lot to be released, and Mike Veraki has provided a check to cover for the traffic mitigation funds that was required for the project. So we're all set. We could release the lot if the board so chooses.
okay, any issues with the board at all? All right, seeing none, I'm gonna make the motion. It's what, lot number 19, Greg? I don't have it in front of me.
Yes,
That's it.
lot number 19.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We release lot number 19. Is there a second?
Sorry, I just wanted to double check because I didn't see it on the agenda I was looking at either, Mike.
Yeah, I didn't have it written down. I took the agenda offline, but
Am I just looking at the
Greg,
wrong?
is it on there, Greg?
I just wanted to
Yeah.
double check.
Yeah, we posted the revised agenda Friday. And I'd gotten the request from Mike.
Okay. I must just have a wrong one up. All right, second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
You, Nick?
Nick Papastratus, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, I.
Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. All right, Mike, that is all set.
Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Have a
thank
great
you.
holiday.
You too.
Thanks.
All right, now we'll move on to discussion of possible zoning articles for 2023 town meeting.
Do you guys see the screen?
We can.
Okay. So there's a number of articles. Most of the changes are minor in nature. First one, Article A, is to see if the board wants to put in a new category into community facilities that would, for self-service storage facilities with no outside storage. Currently, we do not have a line for use for self-storage, and we do not have a definition for self-storage. And we have several different self-storage facilities in town, and we have some other people that are interested in putting them in, and it would make it easier than trying to fit this under the warehouse and trucking category, because it is kind of a different animal, so to speak. So that first article would be putting it in as a new use line, and it would be allowed in B1, B2, B3, B4, and the I1 district, and it would be a special permit in the water resource protection. The second article would be a definition of self-storage facilities. And we had looked at different towns, and we also looked at the state law for self-storage. The two words that are in bold, the self-service and the residential occupancy permits, were suggestions by someone who's interested in a self-storage facility. And just, we were trying to make it clear that these were not self-storage, which also allows you residential occupancy purposes, like kitchens, bathrooms, and et cetera. This is just self-storage in the purest sense. You're bringing in your stuff, you're putting it in your container area or whatever your section, and that's it. It's not you have a bathroom and a kitchen and you're entertaining guests in your self-storage unit.
Greg, this is just a building, like a regular storage building, right?
Yes, like similar to the one that we have next to DJ Sullivan and Luchetti's.
Similar or exactly what we're talking about?
Pretty much the same thing, except they
Okay.
wouldn't have the office / residential unit in the front.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The next article was a request from a resident to look into, and that is the changing a section of zoning that's currently B3 to R3 in the Fieldston area. And let me pull up the map. And here's the map. That green area is what is currently B3. And from Adams Road south to Heather Road there is a portion of it that's green in here that has that overlay on it. And that's the section that we change into R3, which would match to the left and to the right is R3. There used to be a restaurant up in this area. That restaurant has now been replaced with a house. So the entire area that we're showing that would be changed is residential homes. And that's in with that neighborhood.
Is this the one Joe brought up a while back?
Yes.
Okay.
The next article is further improvements to fully comply with the Dover Amendment. So we would change that educational purposes so it's clearer and easier to understand. We had tinkered with this a town meeting ago or so. Educational purposes on land owned or leased by the Commonwealth or its agencies, or by religious sect or denomination, or by a nonprofit educational corporation. The nonprofit was missing in our last line item for that. Again, under the Dover, it is supposed to be permitted in every district, so that's what we're showing with the change to the use category line. The next one down is a change to accessory apartments. We would change it from special permit to just permitted in the R1, R2, R3, and B2.
Yeah, Kevin, I think you became unmuted.
Probably.
Yep.
The next one is further changes to the accessory apartments section of the bylaw. Again, from a special permit, we're going to put it as allowed after review of the building commissioner. The next down to B, a special permit may be granted. We're going to strike accessory apartments may be allowed in those districts that I mentioned by the building commissioner. C, again, taking out the special permit language and basically saying that the building commissioner may grant the permit. The majority of the requirements we leave alone. We add the word in 10 minimum setbacks and open space to make that easier or clearer to understand. And then under transfer of ownerships, etc., we're striking the transfer of ownerships and the recertification process because it's no longer a special permit, it's just by right. The next one is street banner sign requests that had come in from the Brant Rock, actually both Brant Rock Village associations. And we had talked with Scott Dixon and others, and the staff's recommendation was to make a street banner thing that would work for the whole town versus just the town of the village of Brant Rock. So this is what we've come up with, the language in blue, and it would allow the street banners, etc., through a process with the selectmen, and that if the town did not own the poles or whatever, that you need to provide. So that last sentence where it says evidence of written permission from the owner of the utility pole must be provided, not proved. So that would be the change there, and that would allow banners. So say up in Marshfield Hills during the art festival, downtown for events, Brant Rock for events, basically any area in town where they're having an event where they would like some type of banners or something. So those are the articles that staff is recommending the planning board to consider including in the warrant. The warrant will be opening in the beginning of January, the first Monday, and actually the first Tuesday because of holidays, and I think the third week in January on the Tuesday it closes. So you will have one meeting prior to the close of the warrant if you need time to mull these over or suggest changes.
Okay, any Any of those jump out to anybody for comments right now? No. Okay, thank you, Greg. Moving on, board and staff report, Greg?
I don't have anything on the top of my mind. Karen, do you have anything? I always get to this point and I'm kind of like, ooh.
Yeah, well,
No,
you
we
don't need
just,
to have one.
we just have the workshop this Wednesday and next Wednesday.
Yes, we have a workshop this Wednesday for the economic development section of the master plan at the senior center. Next Wednesday night, we have a workshop at the senior center at 7. Both of them are from 7 to 9 for the multi-hazard mitigation plan public workshop.
Okay, thank you.
And
Anything from- oh, go ahead, Karen.
And the 13th is the town holiday party at Haddock's.
In case any board member would like to attend.
All right, thank you. Anything from any of the board members? Okay, seeing none, thank you for everything, Greg and Karen, and thanks for being here, everyone. I'll make a motion that we close tonight's public hearing. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick,
Nick Papastratus, aye.
Fred,
Fred Monaco, I.
Kevin,
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
and Mike Viviano, aye. That concludes tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Thanks,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Good night.